did.
I will go ahead and call this public hearing to order. My name is Ed Lewis. I am President Pro Tem and a member of the Community Development Committee. I will be chairing the hearing this evening. The subject of this public hearing is Resolution number 3-2023, which is a resolution reversing the decision of the Massillon Board of Zoning Appeals in the variance case number 2023-1. The purpose for the variance request is to allow applicant to operate a home-based occupation of a licensed massage therapist at 300 Taggart Avenue Northeast, Massillon, Ohio, parcel number 612447, in an R3 single-family zone district. On January 12, 2023, the Massillon Board of Zoning Appeals denied the variance request. On January 7, 2023, the applicant filed a notice of appeal of the decision of the Clerk of Council. City Council will now consider this matter. This is an opportunity for the public to make their opinion known on the issue. It is not a dialogue or a question and answer session. The chairman may use her discretion in asking a city official for clarification on any issue. For the record, we have the following council members in attendance.
Creamer.
Present.
Gray.
Here.
Harvard Smith.
Here.
Harmkane.
Here.
Lewis.
Present.
Lombardi.
Here.
Scoots.
Here.
Sneed. And Viola. Here. Roll call of 8 present.
Thank you, Diane. I also see that we have the President of Council, Claudette Eistig, present. We also have the following city officials in attendance.
Law Director Justin Mack.
Well, there's President present, Justin Richard Nememak. We're not sitting that close.
Assistant Law Director Edmund Mack.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you. At this point, we will give anyone who wants to speak an opportunity to do so. We ask that you come to the microphone, state your name and address, and then make any comments you'd like to. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the proposed change?
Yes, I'm Attorney Stephen Eckinger. Oh, we'll go up here. Attorney Stephen Eckinger on behalf of Jennifer McConnell and her business in favor of granting the variance.
And President Pro Tem, I just add for the record that we won't swear in council, but anybody else that would like to present testimony in favor or against us, we would like to swear in with your permission.
So, for the record, Assistant Law Director Edmund Mack has stated that they would like to swear in any other comments or testimony this evening, other than counsel.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to first just make a brief statement if I could, and then I'd like to call Ms. McConnell and ask her some questions, if I may. We're here tonight because Ms. McConnell wants to operate her business out of her home. And we believe if she isn't provided a variance or an exception here, then essentially other than a school or a church or a child care facility, you're going to have no businesses operating in Massillon where clientele can come see their therapist or other individual in their home. And with what's happened today, with what we've seen the last couple of years with COVID-19 and different changes, we believe she is the perfect, I don't want to call her a test case, but from reading the transcript of the appeals hearing, the zoning appeals hearing, it appears that the belief is that nobody else has been granted a variance in a similarly situated place. So what you're going to hear from Ms. McConnell is that she has a long-time business that she's operated for about 17 years. Her clientele is essentially 100% referrals from doctors. She's got the educational background and the licensing that I believe you will find to be very impressive, and she herself is an impressive person and has a lot of people here supporting her, many of them clients of hers, that can tell you what she provides to them. I mean, this is not, I believe, in the appeals hearing, it was maybe mentioned by somebody to be a massage parlor. That is in no way what she's operating here. This is providing for people with medical needs, therapy, massage therapy as they need. She operates Tuesday through Friday, doesn't operate on the weekends, and doesn't advertise her business. Under the 118003 home occupation requirements, I believe what you're going to hear is that she fits all of them, except one that is going to be the main crux here today. She doesn't display retail sale or goods. She has no employees. There's no evidence of the business from outside, as the photos that we have here today will show that were presented as Exhibit A in the appeals case. There's no signs advertising the occupation. You drive by this place, you wouldn't know it's a massage therapy location. You would just think it's a home that has a little extra on the driveway for extra cars, which all of us, you know, when we have guests or a large family may need anyway, and there is a railing to get to the back. Again, with elderly family members, that could be needed anyway. The traffic generated, you're going to hear from her, is not significant. She has at most 8 clients in a day, and the typical day is about 4. And she's going to testify for you about how it's spread out, an hour and a half between appointments, so that there typically are not clients crossing each other. One leaves and then the next comes. There's no noise, smoke, odors, vibrations that are coming from this business. There's no outdoor storage of materials. There's no equipment sitting outside. The only issue I believe that the court has, I'm sorry, I'm an attorney, I'm used to saying court, that the council here needs to deal with is provision K that says the following type of home occupation shall be prohibited. Any business whose primary function is the rendering of services to customers or clients on the premises, with the exception of educational services such as tutoring or music instructions. I believe to not grant her, because she is similarly situated to somebody who is providing educational services or music lessons, she's similarly situated, and to not let her operate this business would be an undue hardship based on what her business is. So if I could, I would ask that I ask Ms. McConnell some questions so she can provide some testimony to you all. Go up on the witness stand. Or you want me to just come here? Okay.
She can stand right there with you.
Okay.
The attorneys want to swear.
Ma'am, do you swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Jennifer, please state your name and current address.
Jennifer A. McConnell, 300 Taggart, Massillon, Ohio.
And the Taggart address is where you want to operate your business out of, is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you have an LLC for your business?
I do.
What's the LLC?
McConnell Therapy and Massage.
And how long have you lived at this address?
5 years.
Okay. Who lives there with you?
My husband and 2 sons.
Okay. How old are your sons?
I have a 26-year-old son and a 9.5-year-old.
Do your sons have any learning disabilities or other issues?
My oldest does have learning disabilities. He currently is a part-time student at Massillon University with an IEP.
Okay, what about your younger son?
My youngest son, David, attends Whittier, Massillon City Schools. He also has an IEP.
Okay. And what does your husband do for a living?
He's a truck driver for M. Conley.
And does your husband have any health issues or disabilities?
My husband has myotonic muscular dystrophy.
And is your husband sitting in the room here with you today? Could you point to him, please?
It's right here.
Um,
I'm not sure.
Okay. What is your licensing and educational background regarding your massage therapy business?
I attained my massage license in 2005 from Stark State College. Before that, I became a practical nurse in 1994. I've also served the United States Army for 10 years.
Okay. When did you start your massage therapy business?
I started it in September of '05.
Okay, and when you started that business, where did you operate out of?
I operated it out of a salon that is still currently in operation. It's called Belle Chic. They're located on Wales Road.
Okay, and who, were you working kind of through a doctor, or what was your relationship there?
She is a salon owner, but from that I took my business that started out as relaxation, attained further certifications to become a therapeutic massage therapist.
Okay, and did you continue to operate out of that location until recently?
No, I moved the business almost 8 years ago to Dr. Tracy Kotnick's office. She was and still is a client of mine, and after having services with me for about a year and a half, Dr. Kotnick offered me office space in her office because she felt it would benefit her patients and with diagnoses that they were dealing with.
Okay, and so for the last 8 years, up until these last few months, you operated out of Dr. Kotnick's office.
Correct.
Why did you, in last year, decide to move your business home?
The office, Dr. Kotnick recently retired, which was part of the move, but the other part, the biggest part of the move was a change in our family status. My husband is an only child, and his mother has since passed away, and my dad became ill and he passed, and so moving our business home was to offer more ability to be there for my mom, to be able to be home if my husband needs assistance. Some days he does really well and doesn't have any problems with strength in his hands and things like that. Other days he can't open a bottle of pop. He can't. Sometimes his hands are weak enough that he can't open the refrigerator. So there are times when he really can't be at home. But also to be home for the 9-year-old with his IEP. It just came, the MAP scores just came in. So we have had his IEP from last year, and his 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Creekbaum, is just an amazing woman. But the only thing that has changed in David's life since the beginning of the school year is me moving home, being home more, because the business has been at home. His MAP score at the beginning of the year was 153, which is very low. It's non-passing to 4th grade. They just took it in January, and he scored a 271. So the only thing that has changed is I've been home. We have more time to read. We have more time to go over spelling. He suffers from apraxia, which means he can see a letter and knows its sound, but when it's put together in a word, his mind changes it. So the only way to fix it is constant speech therapy and repetition. So by having this repetition at home more often than what he was getting because I had to be away at work more, he's really excelling at school. So that has been another big drive in moving your business home.
Now, when do you, what types of services do you provide for your clients?
I provide neuromuscular therapy, myofascial release. There's several different modalities, Rolfing, positional release, Reiki. These are all certifications that I've obtained since getting my license in '05.
And what is, by getting the therapy with you, have you seen great improvements in some of your clients?
A lot of my clients come to me, have been referred to me from physicians, and also word of mouth, but I have 5 clients They're not all with me currently, who have come to me because of having scoliosis pain and now don't have any. They are out of pain, getting back into life, active, participating, getting back into doing things they haven't been able to do in years because they're not in the chronic pain. Chronic pain is very debilitating to the body, and it really saps away life. You know, you start out, a lot of people, fibromyalgia is a big thing right now, and you know, people start out with the diagnosis and they have a little bit of pain, and then a year goes by and you know, they're now, instead of going out and running and spending time with family, they're sitting at home because it takes too much effort and energy and the body hurts too much to do those things. So more sedentary life leads to more healthcare problems, cardiac issues, diabetic issues. By coming to massage, you stimulate the body's circulatory system, which helps people get moving because they're not as much pain, and they want to get back to their life. So regular massage has been medically proven to assist in the reduction of fibromyalgia pain, chronic fatigue, and several other diagnoses.
How do you get your clients?
By physician referral and word of mouth. I have not advertised in 15 years.
Give the council an idea, what's the average age of your clientele?
60,
Okay, men versus women?
more women versus men.
And are most of these long-term clients?
I would say they're more long-term than short-term, but I do have both.
Okay. And how often are most of them seeing you?
I have several clients that see me weekly. Most of my clients come bi-weekly, and then I have some clients that come once a month.
You spoke about doctor referrals. Could you give names of the doctors who refer to you?
Dr. Tracy Kotnick, Dr. Scott Snow, who's here in the audience tonight, Dr. Michael Longo, what's his spot?
That's right. What hours do you operate the business?
My standard hours are from 9 to 9, Tuesday through Friday, but that isn't, they flex. Usually Wednesdays are a shorter day. I try and keep the morning open for appointments, doctor's appointments and things like that for my mom, for my husband's family, because again, he's an only and he has elderly family that need assistance that we have to help provide. So typically, the typical is an 8 to 9 hour day on Tuesday, maybe a 6 hour day on Wednesday, 8 hour day on Thursday, and then 8 to 10 hour day on Friday.
And how long are your typical appointments, and how do you spread out your appointments?
I book on the hour and a half. So the client's appointment is a 60-minute appointment. And then there's, time for the person to get dressed or get undressed and pay and leave. So then they have left, and then 15 minutes go by before the next client comes.
Like today, what was your schedule today?
I had 9 o'clock, a 10:30, a noon, a 1:30, and then I had a client for a half hour at 3 o'clock.
And are typically clients coming by themselves?
Yes.
And do they park? Where do they park?
Most of the time we have had, as you can see from the photos, an addition put on our driveway, so they park in the addition on the driveway.
And where do they come in? In the back?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a separate entrance that you use?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned the photos. I'm going to ask council, there was an Exhibit A that was utilized at the zoning appeals hearing. We'd ask that that be entered into the record here today. Jennifer, if you could take a look at that, and there's photos attached to this Exhibit A. This is showing the property, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it shows where you added an addition of concrete to your home, and that would be useful to you whether you had this business or not, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And you added a railing around the back.
Mhm.
And again, that was something you might have added anyway, even if you didn't have this business, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Jennifer, you, as I stated earlier, just confirm that you don't display or retail sell any goods.
No,
You have no employees.
no,
No, there's no, in your opinion, there's no evidence from the outside of a business in operation inside, correct?
correct.
Okay. You have no signs advertising the occupation.
No,
You don't take deliveries
No.
for the business, other than just general packages that people would get at their home.
correct.
Right. There's no noise, odors, vibrations, smoke, or fumes coming from the house.
No,
There's no outdoor storage or materials.
No.
You operate you don't use like a secondary building for the business. It's part of your home.
correct.
Okay. There's no commercial vehicles with equipment for this business.
No,
Okay. And the traffic, do you believe the traffic generated exceeds normal volume?
I do not.
Okay, why do you say that?
Mainly because I see, again, 4 to, at the maximum, 8 clients a day. Most of the time, if I'm seeing, the amount of times that I see 8 clients in a day is 2-3 times a month. So it is rare. More often than not, it's 4 to 6 clients. If I were to have a daycare at my home, which it is zoned for, I could have up to 12 children in my home and have 12 cars coming and going at 5:30 in the morning up until 11 o'clock at night. So that would be way more traffic and a much younger crowd, because obviously they're going to be bringing toddlers and infants to a daycare. So you're talking about, assumedly, people who are in their 20s, 30s, bringing children in for a daycare, which would be much louder than 60-year-olds coming in for a massage once every hour and a half.
Jennifer, this Exhibit A has the second page has your registration for City of Massillon home occupation. And I wanted to correct something that was, I believe, testified to by the code enforcement official at the, Board of Zoning Appeals hearing. You did register with the city in October, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and what occurred when you did that?
I was here downstairs. I filled this paper out. Frank was in his office. It was given directly to him. He came out of his office, handed it back to me, and said denied.
And that, you believe, as we've looked at the records, you were not necessarily surprised it was denied at that time,
Correct.
but you did follow what you were supposed to do and register before you started the business, correct? So you didn't try and hide this from the city?
No.
Okay. You then, thereafter, there was some testimony about, I think in November, you being told about complaints that were made.
Yes.
You did end up filing, obviously, the appeal, and then had the zoning appeal hearing, and now we're here today.
Correct.
So you did not right away appeal, but you did appeal thereafter, right? Okay. And Jennifer, you had some other information in this document. This is all accurate information about the size of your lot, number of buildings on the property, and what the business is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Jennifer, what if the council were to deny your request here today, how would that burden you?
I really feel that to deny my request, my son would do his grades and stuff would go back to what they were. I really feel that we would probably have to do something to help my husband on days when his hands are too weak to be able to do things for himself, because I do see people in the evening. So we would have to do something to be able to help him more that way. It would really be a hardship for my family at this point. Having been home, and having the business from November to now, it has eased so much worry and stress in our lives. My oldest son is responsible, but he can't always, depending on the given day, he can't always watch the 9-year-old. And 9 years old is too young to be left alone for hours on end. He can't do that, especially with his IEP. So, you know, you can't pick the children that you're going to have, you know.
Jennifer, 118001 of the ordinances states that the intent of the permitting of home occupations by Massillon states in part that it's to establish regulations which will permit home occupations in a manner which will preserve the peace, quiet, and tranquility of residential neighborhoods. Do you believe your business is going to impact that? No. I mean, your neighbors, you don't believe it's impacted their ability to have peace and tranquility, correct?
No.
Based on the number of people you have coming in, the long-established business you have, the good clientele.
Correct.
Okay. And it also states that code section that the need to establish regulations pertaining to home-based occupation is a result of the increased needs within households for the diversity of income to help offset the rising cost of living. And I'm taking out a few words in the middle, but then it later says, will particularly benefit individuals with physical disabilities as well as those having to care for children or the elderly within their home. Is that one of the issues you've got here about the need to
Very
have a
much
business
so.
in your home?
Very much so.
And as far as, there's also the cost issue, correct, about having to try and find a location.
Yes.
And your clientele has enjoyed moving the business to your home, correct?
Absolutely.
And you have a room in the home that you use,
Mhm.
and that, the photos show that, correct?
They do.
If the council looks at those, they'll see the layout of your house.
Yes.
Finally, you have some individuals here today. If you could, I know not all of them are necessarily going to speak today, could you just point out and name your clients that are here today?
Serena Cunningham has been a client of mine for probably 17 years. Vera has been coming to me for over a year and a half. Linda's been coming to me for approximately 3 years. Anita is one of my miracle people. She has been with me for about a year and a half and no longer comes because she's completely pain-free. Carol has been with me for about 6 months. Linda has been with me for about a year now, off and on for about a year. Rhonda has been with me for 17 years now. And I see 8 other people from her family. Linda, love Linda's. Linda's been with me for probably 3 years now. I've seen Michelle off and on for 7 years. Ron has been a constant client of mine for 7 years. Yeah. Debbie has been a client of mine for 17 years. Stephanie has been a client of mine for 10. Drew has been a client of mine since he was 12. He was born with a congenital foot problem that I have helped him greatly with. And Dana has been with me, she's one of my newer clients, about 4 months now. She's being seen for vertigo. The gentleman in the back is Dr. Scott Snow, and I've treated him off and on for different ailments too over the last 10 years.
And finally, Jennifer, you've registered and we're here today trying to get you be able to operate your business, but you know of others who operate similar businesses who are doing so without registering, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you're not trying to name names here today, but the point is you're trying to do things the right way and get approval from this council here today.
That is correct.
Would you like to say here today?
No.
That's all we have as far as Jennifer, council. I know if we could, I'd maybe just call up quickly any of her clients who want to speak, and I can quickly direct them just to say a few words on behalf of Jennifer.
Yes, if there's anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this evening?
Write your name. You got to write your name.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
come up, I just state your name and current address for the council, please.
I'm Stephanie Parsons. I live at 3218 Woodridge Avenue, Northwest in Canton.
Okay, and how do you, are you a client of Jennifer's?
Yes, I've been a long-time client. I'm currently a weekly client. I, too, was born with some congenital malformations that she has helped me with my hands and my feet, which I am able to walk and do things and wear my shoes that I normally can't fit. I wear a 5 quad E. That makes any difference. I have also worked in the office that she worked in, our office. She was not part of the practice. She had a separate room that she rented.
This is Dr. Cotnick?
Yeah.
Okay, and could you just state, you're a little familiar then with how she gets her clientele and what her clientele consists of, is that correct?
Right.
And would you say her clientele is upstanding, people that really have needs, and are not gonna, I don't wanna say scrum up the street and neighborhood, but these are upstanding individuals from what you've seen?
Very. And most of them have health or musculoskeletal problems that need work. And I've watched and experienced myself, had an episode of severe back spasms, and I had walked around for days, barely. And I got on her table, and by the time we were done, I got off her table, and I have not had a problem since. To tell you how good she is, the first time I saw her, she told me, and she wasn't working in the office then, to witness how I work, but how I sat in my chair. She said, you sit on your right butt cheek, and your arm is out like this, and you're doing this, and you got this. I've got a phone, and I've got a mouse in my hand. And so it's just, that's how, what her work and what she is able to achieve. I just wanted to really comment for that.
If you could sign, anybody else? Come on up.
You swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
If you could provide counsel your name and address, please.
My name is Debbie Ritchie, live at 8797 Colton Street, Massillon Post Office, Jackson Township. I've known Jenny since she was a little girl. Her mother and father lived across the street from us, still live across the street from us, so I've known her for a long time. I started to get to know her, said 17 years, doesn't seem like it's been that long. When I started getting a little older and my aches and pains started up, I've had multiple surgeries. I have foot problems, I have 3 knee surgeries, I have back surgery, all of which help but still cause a lot of pain. She has done amazing work on keeping me on my feet, and between her and Dr. Snow have been keeping me walking and pretty much pain-free, not having to take tons and tons of medications anymore. I think that she is a wonderful neighbor. I think she is a wonderful person. I always tell people, you gotta call her, you gotta give her a call if you're having pain. She has magic hands. So I really would recommend having her have this business. I know that her children are benefited by her being home, as well as her clientele. I started with her when she was at the hairdressers, trying to relax when you have hair dryers going off and a million people, it sounded like, chatting at the top of their voices over all the other noise. It's very difficult. When she moved to the doctor's office, it was much, much better, but she still heard people walking through as they were leaving the physician's office. Now, the most I hear is her son maybe saying, "Read him, Mom," as he's on his way out to school. So it's a much quieter atmosphere, much more beneficial to having your therapy done.
Thank you. You can sign, please. Anybody else? Come on up.
Just a reminder, Attorney, I
Yeah, I
can
know.
have about 5 minutes.
I know, but if you could, quickly, everybody, when you come up, just give a quick, maybe 15-second synopsis, please, because we are short on time.
You swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Linda Miller, 2305 Augusta Drive, Southeast Connecticut. I'm a special education teacher's aide, 60 years old. I'm one of her clients. She's helped me tremendously with vertigo, headaches, keeps me out of pain, drug-free, which is wonderful. Our neighbor who referred me is a retired beauty shop owner. She's a hairdresser for the nursing home, University and Nursing Home. And there's many benefits for her to have this business out of her house. Parking is one. Only 2 client cars at any one time parked in the parking area. The waiting area is very private. You might pass another person on your way out. And also, it's a healthier environment. We're not sitting in the doctor's office with a lot of sick patients. And she's just very caring and very educational. She knows so much about the body and makes sure that you understand what she's doing. And couldn't go on without her. Thank you.
If there's no objection from council or anyone else here, I'm just going to swear everybody in. So anybody who'd like to present testimony today, either in favor or against this appeal, please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sarita Cunningham, 1167 Lemon Avenue Northeast. I first met Jenny when she was working at the beauty salon, and it was, sorry guys. It was not long after my daughter Amanda had passed, and I went for her for the stress relief and relaxation, and she was so knowledgeable, and she continued her education. Then she had to move, she moved to Dr. Cotton's office, who was also my physician, and again, she was amazing. The knowledge that she knows about the human body and how everything is connected to each other. And I have been at her home, and it was very quiet. There's private entrance. You don't see a lot of traffic going on, and I highly recommend that you please accept this and go with her. Thanks.
Andrew Haynes, 966 Brockton Avenue, Northwest, Massillon, Ohio. I first met Jenny when I was 12. I was born with basically club-footed, and I've had 3 different surgeries, and I've always had pain and trouble walking. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to go to work every day. I work in the automotive field at Mullinax in North Canton. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to go to work. And it's also close to home. With all the scar tissue from my surgeries, she's been able to work wonders with my foot and ankle. And I wasn't able to find anybody else that was willing to even touch me and help my situation. I'd probably be sitting at home bored to hell, not able to do anything. So I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would accept this for her. It would be very beneficial for me and her family as well. Thank you.
Linda Howard, 316 Donner Avenue, Northwest, North Canton. I had scoliosis. I was born with it, and I've had it all my life. I didn't know my spine could be straightened without surgery, without drugs, and that's what Jennifer did in 11 months. It's a miracle. That was my first miracle that she did on me. My second miracle, she's working now on scar tissue from my breast cancer surgery. I didn't know that could be dissolved, and I didn't know how many problems that causes throughout your body. So they just beg you to let her continue on. We need her. Thank you.
Hello, Dana Rohr. I live at 1743 Stoner Avenue in Massillon. It's very important to me that I speak to you all this evening for Jenny, because she's helped me so very much in only the last 4 months. I was diagnosed with Sjogren's syndrome in 2017, in which I had to completely change my career. I was a zookeeper. I worked very hard to get this in my life, and I had to quit my job because I could not handle the heat, because I get dehydrated very easily. I'm very temperature sensitive. I also suffer from extreme vertigo spells. I don't ever know when my vertigo is going to occur. I've been visiting with Jenny, and in the last 4 months, my vertigo spells have gone to 3 to 4 a week, down to 0 or 1. It has helped me tremendously. So I want to make sure that you all know what an important person Jenny is to our community. She's changing lives, including mine. Thank you.
Carol Petro, 4352 Nobleville Street, Massillon, actually Jackson Township. I came to her through referrals, 3 different referrals, so that tells you a lot. She helped me with and is helping me with my pensioner. I wanted to go somewhere, didn't have drugs or surgery. She has done that for me, and I continue to appreciate her education. She helps me with different exercises so that I know what to do. She won't hit me for this, but I welcome anybody who wants to come to see what she does. She is a miracle worker. Thanks.
My name is Dr. Scott Snow. I'm a chiropractic physician in Jackson, 7981 Colleen Street, Northwest. Honestly, she surprised me with her humility, because I will tell you that as a chiropractor, when somebody comes to see me and they have like fibromyalgia or something like that, it's a red flag. It's a difficult case for a chiropractor to take care of alone. And honestly, I have a ceiling in which I can help these people, but to be able to refer them and to know the hands that they're in, it's special. And so where everybody, I can see the things that, and listen to the things that people have said here, but I have seen a lot of my patients have those results. They're not here today because I didn't ask them to come. Wherever she is her best is where we need her to be. So if it's in this setting, that's where she needs to be. I have just a little experience with this myself. I built an office off the back of my house 18 years ago, and I see many more patients than she does, 75 a week, and I've never had a problem with any of my neighbors. In fact, quite a few of them are patients. It works well, and I can't see any problem with it as long as people are going to have complaints, I understand that, is if they're verifiable, whatever, but she's special. She's just not a mesotherapist. She is special. So I hope that she succeeds in her efforts. Thanks.
We can hear one last comment in favor, and then we have to move on.
My name is Ron Fultz, 5680 Keith Circle, it's Canal Fulton, Ohio. I've seen Jenny for a very long time, and I started with her because I had fibromyalgia. She has helped me tremendously with that. I was very touch sensitive, and you can now touch me most of the time without me wanting to cry. Knee surgery, knee replacement, she's been able to help me with that, and I've been able to put off having knee replacement surgery. She's been able to help with that pain. I had esophagus cancer 2 years ago, and had to have my esophagus removed, and the scar tissue, like someone mentioned earlier, was really troublesome from the scars. So she's really helped me with that and been able to ease that pain. My husband sees her. He has a very bad back. She's helped him with his back. My son-in-law sees her. He was to the point he needed back surgery, and he could hardly move sometimes. And he is doing so much better. She's working with my 8-year-old grandson right now. He has a lot of trouble with his hips and legs, and she has helped him tremendously. He's able to move a lot better. So, yeah, she's wonderful for all of us, and her being in her home is much more of a private setting, which is better for all of us, I believe. It's better for her and her family. It's helped her family a lot, too. I don't feel that any of us are disrespectful to the neighborhood at all. The traffic is very minimal, 1 or 2 cars there at a time. That's it. So I just ask you to please consider seriously and let her continue this business in her home for all of her patients and for her family. Thank you.
resident who would like to speak against this proposed change, please come forward.
Tom Martinet, 310 Taggart Avenue, Northeast. 50 years I lived there. And you know what? I don't know if I get to go to heaven, whether I'm just leaving heaven. Because that's what I feel about the Clearview allotment. The people are just, I'm the youngest one there. Got some people here, we have a couple that are kind of laid up this evening. But anyway, when they moved here, well, I didn't know them at all, Mr. and Mrs. McConnell. But I get to talk to Mike one time. And by the way, Mrs. McConnell talked more up here than she talked with all my neighbors in the last 4 years. I mean, we didn't really know them, and they didn't bother the neighbor. But I gotta tell you this, we were really tight. I mean, there was a group of us down there. It's like, if you ever been to Taggart, down there we're surrounded. Anybody that needs something, 3 o'clock in the morning, we were always there. It was almost like, my wife isn't here, but boy, I wish she was. I mean, it was always, if somebody needed something, we were always there. And it was like family. You'd be surprised if I had to work later on, I get to go home. And it was always nice to go down Taggart Avenue and see them. You know, maybe see it, hey, how you doing? 3 o'clock in the morning, Jerry Diana used to call me all the time. He used to come on over to me and look at this little problem I have here. Yep, I go. But anyway, I know this has got to be short. But I talked to Mike one time, and there wasn't a lot of conversation. They didn't neighbor at all. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I'm talking for my neighbors. And I talked to Mike one time, and he says, you know, my wife's a therapist. She's not a therapist, and we might put her in business. I didn't think anything about it, for the simple fact that I knew they couldn't, you know, once they brought it down here to City Hall and the building department, or the zoning department, you know, they would probably have a problem with it. So I didn't go any further with it, you know, I never meant anything. And the property they kept for them a couple years, I'd say 3 years. And I told them a couple of times, you gotta cut that grass. You know, let me tell you something. One day, I said, can I have a couple weeds you have in your backyard? I need them. They said, why would you want them weeds? Because I'm going to put them in the Guinness World of Records. You can't have weeds 8 foot high. Look at everybody takes care of their property and they do what they have to do. You know, this is just common thing for that time. You know, it just wasn't there. You know, they didn't neighbor at all. And if you want to laugh about it or whatever the case may be, these people will verify that. And then about mid-22, you know, Mike never talked about it much. Well, I never talked to her hardly at all, maybe 5 minutes in 4 years. But when Mike, when he told me that, I said, did you ever talk to the realtor about this house? Because I knew they had a tad of a problem with the people that moved down. And he says, no, I never talked to him. I said, Jeremy? No. And I says, that sounded suspicious of me. And then what I did find out from a couple of people that when they needed a place, that her private business, she wanted to start a business. And it started to be common knowledge. And we didn't think anything about it for the simple fact is you have to come down here. You know, there's a million places downtown, but it has to come down here. We didn't think anything about it until 2022, we seen them come in. We seen the cement driveway that anybody would like to have, I'll tell you what. It's a big cement driveway with the railing going up to the back into the family room where it used to be a family room in the back. And then they had a couple carpenters come in for a couple weeks and do something where there used to be a family room in the back. A little suspicious now. I said, they're doing something. And then what the cluster was, they brought a landscape company in. 2 days, 5 guys to clean up the area. And I'm going to tell you what, it was a miracle when I seen it. Because they've done a real good job. I mean, them guys really took it right down. And I tell you, nobody's in favor of this tag. I can line up 300 people tomorrow afternoon and say no. You know what I mean? And I feel for what happened. And I knew it was going to come down. I even knew it was going to come down. You know what I mean? We love our Clearview, and we love our tag, and we love our people. It wasn't, you know, like we said hi in the morning and that was it. Hey, let's go boating in the afternoon. Let's have a party. Let's go get loaded on New Year's Eve. I was first one there. But, you know, it happens, and that's the way it was. And I just feel like, you know, when they targeted that place to buy it for her business. Okay, and that was said. She told people that. It was a nice place, you know, a good allotment. It would be great for a business. But guess what? You can look around with the people. There's real people in this equation. And them customers that she had. I think that's great. What she done for them. She didn't look at us. Because I got a guy right now that was just, one of my neighbors was telling me, he's just sick about this. You know what I mean? And there is some traffic more than what she discussed. I mean, and then there are elderly people there right now. And bad thing about this, people come in and out and everything else. And it's kind of, with Taggart, is it's right at the end there, and people, they look around and, you know, we don't know.
President Pro Tem.
We're running out of time, sir. If you could
Okay,
please
I'm
wrap
very sorry for
up.
that.
We have to end at 6:30.
I can cut it out. Does anybody want to see any pictures?
And if you would, will you allow just a few seconds of any cross-examination,
See any pictures?
if there's any at all? I'm sure there's not.
Yeah, I got 2 of these.
Great, none.
Are you going to talk about
that
your
anyway right now.
I just got one more thing to say.
Sir,
Please, 10 seconds. Give me 15. 10 seconds. My neighbor in the back had to buy 30 trees and then, so he could block them off. He didn't know this was taking place. Is that correct? You know, so they could block it off because this wasn't Clearview. You know, and if they come and talk to us once in a while, or do something to help us out. Thank you.
if anyone else that would like to speak in opposition,
Oh, my hat, that's where I lost my hat.
go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Peggy Mang. I live at 214 Taggart Avenue Northeast, which is right next door to 300 Taggart Avenue Northeast. I've lived there for 62 years. And all I can say is I work out in my yard a lot, and I have a beautiful porch in the back, which now I can see the people going up and down. And all I can say is the law is the law. And they have broken the law in every way possible. And all I ask is please vote against this. Thank you very much.
Cross-examine?
I would just like to add, this business has only been in operation since October, correct?
Yes.
You work in your yard in November and December?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Never saw you outside,
Yes,
ever.
he does.
Anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? I would appreciate if people have comments. All right, with that said, I know council will have things to debate, but given our time constraints, We will have to reserve that for our regular meeting. Mr. Lombardi, I do assure that as the Ward 1 councilman, I would hope that we would be able to give you an opportunity to speak during the regular meeting as well.
I'd just like to say thank you very much, all of you, for letting us, letting her have her day. And I know we were long-winded. I apologize for that. Thank you.
With that, I call this meeting adjourned.